Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'll tell you my take on the French election, as well as mention a bet I had with Cameron Harris on this election. Well, firstly, according to official results, Emmanuel Macron won this election with around 58% of the vote, if I'm not mistaken. Marine Le Pen got around 41%, almost 42%, right? And yeah, so what do I think of the results? Well, firstly, I'm disappointed severely by the results. Now what we'll see is 5, if not 7 more years, as Macron wants to, um, make terms be 7 years long again. He wants what Macron will do now is just show 5 to 7 more years of failure and stuff like that. More of the establishment, more of the EU. He'll try to federalize the EU, and he'll start doing that in around in 2024 if he's not stopped. Right? And what else? Macron will now expand more and more on French imperialism. Will expand more on the wars done by France, coups done by France, especially in West Africa. Just look at Burkina Faso. Look at Guinea. Look at what else is the Chad, Niger, and Gambia. We'll see more of those coups, more and more coups, right? There was also one in the Central African Republic. French imperialism, French neo-colonialism in Africa will strengthen as well as in the EU. Macron wants, as I said, an EU federalist state, but the question is if he can succeed. Right? There are still the legislative elections, both in 2025 and 2027, as well as the Senate elections. If Marine Le Pen now wins with the Front National, the legislative elections as well as the Senate elections, she can actually impeach Emmanuel Macron and take over, right? Especially if Macron introduces 7-year term limits, right? Well, so yeah, I think that people have made a big mistake by quote unquote electing Macron. Now, what do I mean by quote unquote electing Macron? Well, firstly, let me explain something to you. It's impossible for Macron to win, really. Just look at all the massive failures of Macron. Macron at one point, increased COVID restrictions on the French people just to, I quote Macron, this is a direct quote, just to piss them off. This is what Macron actually said, and not just it. Macron promised to raise the pension age from 62 to 65, which is essentially just just basically saying, well, I'm gonna harm workers' rights more, right? Don't vote for me. Vote for the more left-wing populist, more economically left-wing candidate, Marine Le Pen, and don't vote for me, right? Not just that, Macron also had a chaotic withdrawal from Mali after Biden withdrew from Afghanistan, and this is actually quite interesting. Uh, maybe Macron was trying to copy Biden, and this was a failure, a massive failure. I support his withdrawal, but it was a failure, just like Biden's withdrawal from Afghanistan, and one can't deny that. And Macron has also said some racist stuff about in the right stuff. I made a video about it about Kwasi and whatever. Pétain, he called him a great soldier, stuff like that. Called Africa problem, a civilizational problem. So what else is there to tell? Well, Macron, uh, yeah, well, Macron really couldn't really win, right? So, how did Macron officially win? And I'm using my rhetoric really, really carefully. Macron only quote unquote won. In reality, Macron actually lost the election. Let me explain. Basically, there is a news channel in France. It's actually controlled by Macron. Is 90% of media is by France, really, especially state-owned video and TV channels. There is a TV channel in France called France 2. You can look it up, which showed the following picture, which I'm showing on my screen right now. Emmanuel Macron, according to this, had on the Monday 14,214,825 votes, whereas Marine Le Pen had 14,432,396 votes. Those are very, very specific numbers. And this was already of the, 99, maybe even 100% of the vote was counted. And in fact, from what I remember, according to the official results, only like around 21.7 million, I think, people voted for either Marine Le Pen or Emmanuel Macron, whereas according to this graph, frame that I'm showing you right now, if you add up Macron's and Marine Le Pen's numbers combined, if you add them up, then actually 28.6 million people voted for either Macron or Marine Le Pen. So we can also see that much more people voted for either candidate instead of the given numbers that we have. And even okay, I thought about this. Maybe this is a typo, right? Maybe this is an error, right? I mean, this stuff happens, right? But do we really get such accurate, you know, numbers for how much Marine Le Pen and Emmanuel Macron both got? I mean, if it accidentally said, maybe, I don't know, 15 million for Macron and 14 million whatever for Marine Le Pen, maybe that would have been an error, but it doesn't say so. In this graph, we can clearly see that Marine Le Pen is 200 and almost 220,000 votes ahead of Macron, and not just that. Even the diagrams, which show how much both candidates have, even the diagram shows that Marine Le Pen actually has more votes than Emmanuel Macron, right? And then at the bottom it says that it's estimated that Emmanuel Macron won around 58.5% of the vote, whereas Marine Le Pen votes 41.5%. I'm not good at maths, but I don't think that Macron can win, over 58% of the vote if the same picture says that he has 220,000 less votes than Marine Le Pen, right? So what I'm saying is that this election was rigged. There was massive fraud, and what was done is not a fair and free election. Free elections are dying worldwide, as is democracy. Really, as Marxists, we recognize that democracy is not real, right? However, at least in the democracy, there are still free elections, or at least used to be free elections. There was at least some degree of free press, some degree of, free speech. But now all of that is disappearing, all of that is fading away, even the free elections, which were really always free and democratic in bourgeois democracies. And now, as Jacques Attali said, a French theorist, all that is turning into a massive dictatorship, and this is the future. At least if the establishment cause succeeds. So, um, what do we do now? Marine Le Pen won this election, and also people called France too old for this frame, right? And they were just then saying that it's just an error, right? But this can't be an error. The numbers are too specific, too exact to be a failure, and it's not just one or two numbers that are wrong, or that that can be wrong, right? And the estimation as well contradicts what the frame says above, right? Well, lastly, I had a bet with Comrade Harris over who will win this election. Well, since Comrade Harris is a great friend of mine, I'll give him a shout out anyway, right? This is what we agreed on. We had a bet. Really, the election officially, according to the official result, I lost the bet. But really, did I really lose the bet, or did I win it? This is the frame that is really questionable, and I think that Marine Le Pen won this election. And I actually contacted an anti-establishment politician from France called Asselineau to organize a UN organized recount, which will who will make a petition for that. Maybe my proposal will get rejected. Maybe it will accept it. Well, and my request that I sent to Asselineau was about submitting this to the French state, right, to make a new recount. And if the French state refuses, well, then the UN then this petition should be submitted to the UN, so the UN handles this, right? Because this is a big violation of democracy, and the UN sometimes has to interfere in internal affairs, such as doing genocides and maybe even elections. We must not allow France to continue going down this path. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and my take on the French election. Hopefully we'll change something. And hey, if Asselineau's request or generally my request that I sent to Asselineau will be rejected, well, maybe that's not the end still. Even if Macron, returns those 7-year terms, right, Marine Le Pen can still win the legislative election this year. And if Marine Le Pen loses the legislative election as well this year, well, then she can try winning it in 2027, before the EU federalizes. The EU is supposed to federalize, if we go by establishment plans, by 2030, by Macron's plans. And if Macron reintroduces 7-year terms, then, well, Macron will resign in 2029, But this can be reverted if the Front National wins either the 2022 or 2027 French legislative election, and then as well as either the 2023 French Senate election or 2026 French Senate election. And then if Marine Le Pen's party and the anti-establishment generally, such as the Front National and DuPont Onion's party, the NDA I think it's called, and Asselineau's party, and maybe Alto's party form a coalition, well, then they can impeach Macron together. And if Macron is impeached and is forced to resign, well, then that means that Marine Le Pen, assuming Marine Le Pen will become the leader of the Senate, then she can become president in 2026 in France, if not earlier. Or if she wins the legislative election this year and the Senate election, um, uh, in 2023, she can already come to power next year. If she wins the Senate election in 2026 and the legislative election in 2027, she can take over in 2027. Not 2026, sorry, and 2027. Goodbye.